Today I'm going to talk about Cambodian dance, taking into account these following topics. First, I will talk about the history around Cambodian dance. Then, I will explain the three genders that exist in Cambodian dance, as well as several generalities and types that can be presented in each gender. And finally, I will establish a small conclusion in which I will highlight the importance of women in Cambodian dance. History of Cambodian dance. The history of the dance, especially the traditional dance of Cambodia, is established in the 1st century, more than 2000 years ago with the arrival of Judaism in Cambodia. However, most of the current Cambodian dance was developed between the 18th and 20th centuries, being the King and Don, who reigned between 1841 and 1869, who officially developed it. Arriving at the 20th century, it was known that the representation of this dance only accompanied the ceremonies and royal celebrations such as coronations, marriages, funerals, or Khmer festivals. But it was Queen Sisowat Kosamak, mother of the king Norodom Sihampuk, who was responsible for taking away these dances from the palace and begin to popularize them throughout the kingdom and the world. Some critics said that teaching a new generation is a survival issue for the tradition. This is why the queen instructed her granddaughter, Bopa Devi, to learn the traditional dance from her childhood, getting to be the representative face of this dance in the 50s and 60s. Moving forward in time, we arrive at an important period in the history of Cambodia, the period of genocide between 1975 and 1979, led by Pol Pot, in which, with the help of the Khmer Rouge, they not only destroyed the lives and, in general, the whole world, but also disappeared its culture. The regime almost completely destroyed the national culture and killed nearly 80% of both male and female artists, not to mention that they closed down the only University of Arts in Cambodia. Taking into account what Sam An said, culture is the soul of a nation. Without culture, there is no a nation. In 1980, the reestablishment of Cambodian culture began in order to raise the nation after the dark period. This is why the Ministry of Information and Culture of Cambodia began to encourage different activities with the aim of recreating a culture, obtaining as a result much more participation of the population in events than before 1975. As the Cambodian Ministry of Information and Culture stated, we have many good seeds and they are sitting on rocks, referring to the operation of the Khmer Rouge. Once the rocks are removed, the seeds grow immeasurably, showing this flowering as UNESCO declared the traditional Khmer dance as intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2008. But what is so special about these dances? Well, we will see it below. Genres of Cambodian dance. There are three genres of Cambodian dance: Khmer classical dance, folk dance, and social dance. Khmer classical dances. Cambodian classical dance, or also known as court dance or Royal Ballet of Cambodia, is one of the main performing arts in Cambodia. In Khmer is known as Robam Praresh Trop, which was categorized as a dance theater because their representations seek to convey stories or messages. Much of these dances are inspired by the era of Angkor or the Cambodian era of splendor, in which the dancers are presented with elaborate costumes, acting slowly and with figurative gestures, accompanied by the musical ensemble Pimpet, which is the largest traditional Khmer musical ensemble. Characters. There are four main characters in this dance that are usually played by women. The first one is called Nean, translated as female role. This character appears in almost all classical dances and expresses the way a woman should act in a traditional Cambodian society, referring to that she should be modest, elegant, and should behave properly. That is why the dancers show these characteristics in their gestures and costumes. The second role is Neron, or the male role, which represents a handsome, strong, and passionate man. Also has to be physically bigger than the woman, but smaller than the giant. The next character is Jack, who is the giant. This one requires a bigger body than the male and female character. The body also needs to be flexible to make each gesture express the meaning of power and ambition. In addition, a jag mask is used, which is beautifully designed and handmade. Finally, we have Va or Hanuma, who is the monkey, being a specific character for Ramker's classical dance. The dancer who represents the character dresses a white suit that is designed to make the golden detail of a monkey's hair shine. Like the giant, the monkey must wear a face mask that is beautifully designed as a monkey face. Although these are the main characters, there are many others that appear according to the story that are going to be represented. Types. There are great repertory of dances, but we will talk about the most recognized and interpreted ones. The Robam Shonpor and Robam Apsara. Robam Shonpor, or also known as the blessing dance, is traditionally performed at the beginning of a ceremony to greet, bless, wish good health, happiness, prosperity, and success to the audience. This dance is masterpiece of Queen Sisawat Kosamak, who created this dance to reflect the pleasant character of the Khmer. This dance specializes in charming and soft movements, holding golden cups that have flowers inside like jasmine, lotus, and rondel. Robam Apsara, or worldwide known as Apsara dance, is one of the dances directly influenced by Hinduism. In this dance, enters a new character that is the Apsara or celestial nymph, known to be the supernatural being who brings good luck. The Apsara dances wear brightly colored tight shirts, traditional sampot skirts, and a golden temple hat. The woman who represents the Apsara must have a fit body with a small waist and a small hands but with elongated fingers. Khmer folk dances. The Khmer folk dances was created in 20th century. It represents diverse cultural traditions and ethnic groups of Cambodia. It is faster and less stylized than the classical Khmer dance, following the music of the Mahori orchestra. There are two ways to represent this dance: the ceremonial, which is reserved for particular rituals such as ceremonies and holidays, and the theatrical, which are the ones present to the public. The folk dances wear the clothes of the people they represent, such as shamans, heat tribes, farmers, and peasants. Social dance. Social dances are dances commonly performed at social gatherings in Cambodia. They include Rombon and Rombach, which are a type of traditional Cambodian dances where both women and men dance in a circle. It is a slow circular dance that moves constantly in a circular way. Conclusion. After studying all the history and culture involved in Cambodian dance, I find that the role of women in Cambodian culture, more specifically in dance, is very important. From Queen Kosamak to the dancers who represent today the characters of traditional dances, we can say that they are part of the creation of national identity that has been generated for years in Cambodia, evidencing this identity by reaffirming that the Khmer classical dance was proclaimed intangible heritage of humanity. So it is not only very important for Cambodia as a nation, but for the whole world. However, what makes this cultural practice come alive or even be recognized worldwide is the magic, charm, and attraction with which women reflect the feeling of love for this dance. It is because of this that the title of my video is The Magic of the Woman in the Cambodian Dance.